Yo, what is going on, guys? I'm here with the one and only Mitchell Martin. And what did you do at the Vegas Regional?
I just got 5th place at the Vegas Regional, as well as 4th place at the Phoenix Regional the day before. So back-to-back top 8s in 2 days. Regionals are finally back after 2 years. Never played in one remote duel.
Yep.
So, I jumped right back in, had to get back-to-back tops.
And before getting to the deck profile, we got a bunch of people for the deck profile, and would you like to introduce your channel?
Yep, I am Super Insane 18. Make sure you check that out.
I'll see you go.
Cody_YGO.
I'm Harrison. I'm not doing it.
All right, let's get that sexy deck profile.
Alrighty. Well, before we jump into the deck profile, I just wanted to give some shout outs. So first and foremost, shout out to Team Jobber, my team. Couldn't do it without their support and whatnot. I've been a member of the team for years now, and we're all really excited to get back to traveling to events. Another shout out to Big 3 Deals. My home locals in Arizona. They sell a lot of cases of sealed product online, so be sure to check them out at big3deals.com, I think. But if that's not right, we'll tag it. But yeah, other than that, shout out to the Arizona local Yu-Gi-Oh community as well. I used to be like the Northern California represent, but I'm claiming Arizona now. So, shout out to Keegan and Alex right here for traveling with me, doing the trip. And without further ado, let's jump into the deck profile. So I played a 60-card Prank Kid pile deck. A lot of people think it's incorrect to play 60 cards, but in my opinion, I think it's like the same amount of bricks for all the engines that you play, and like the cards you add that make it go from 40 or under 60 to 60 aren't bricks. So if you see them, like the chances of seeing each specific card obviously go down drastically when you play 60. Another key difference is the Souls engine, which is just like every single card. I just play 5, 1 prep. Is Souls. Like there's not a brick incorporated with that engine. So I mean, with a field spell or like the adventure engine, it's pot of greed and a body. So it really is just one of the most insane engines, and you get to play more hand traps, so it's even stronger going second. You get to play some blowout cards that you wouldn't be able to play in a 40 card list, and let's hop right into it. So the best one is Fansies. It can tutor one of the spells by sending it, like if they Valor or Ash your do. But it's definitely the best one. You can special off 1 for 1. You can add it back. You can add it from deck with Thunder Dragon Fusion. It's definitely just the best one of the 4. I played 3 Roxy's. A lot of people only play 2 of this card, or they don't like this card as much, but with 60, it definitely increases the numbers. I played a total of 16 Prank Kids cards. You can play 17, 18 with set rotation if you played a second field spell, but I did not, and I did not play Terraforming either. So I just played the 16 copies of the Prank Kids. It ran great. Honestly, the only games I really lost was when I drew like 3 or 4 Prank Kids, or like got hand trapped everywhere. So for the monsters of the adventure token engine, it's just these 4. Very standard. I mean, some people might try to say less Enchantress, less right, but if you draw 1 and 1 or 2 Enchantress, it's drawing this one's definitely better because it's also a body, so you can just special it for free after you get the token. I also played the Destiny Hero package, so Dasher Celestial. The reason I'm talking about putting bodies on board is after you do your combo, you want to just put 2 more bodies on board to make the Predaplant Anaconda Verte, so you can make your Dasher, or not Dasher, the Destroyer Phoenix, or you can send Thunder Dragon Fusion and make a Butler. And you can even turn something else dark and send Super Poly, which is really spicy. Super Poly is honestly the MVP of the deck. But let's keep going with the engines. So we have the Souls engine right here of the monsters. I play one prep as well, so 5 copies of Souls really, but one being a spell. If you draw multiple, it isn't as much as Brick. And then for the main deck hand traps, I played 3 Ogre, 3 Ash, 3 Droll, as well as 3 Lancia. A lot of people aren't too keen on Lancia. I think Ogre and Ash are definitely by far like the most versatile, best hand traps currently, but they're realistically 1-for-1s. You know, it does stop the Brave package. Even like Ogre on Fate, which is insane, is still like a -1. They still have the token. But you know, it definitely stops their play, stops the combo. You know, it hits just about every deck, even versus rogue matchups. Maybe not like Eldritch, but you know, Ash hits literally everything. And then with the Adventure token and everything basically searching, I think Droll is just insane. Not every deck vanishes, but like the Adventure token, you know, you shotgun this standby phase and they can't use it. But sometimes they just hard draw the right. But there are like interruptions where Lancia comes up versus almost every deck. The other cool thing is if you know that it's going to be dead versus a certain deck, you can actually set it in your spell and trap zone and then use Magician Souls to send it as a spell, which is really spicy. So like if it's dead, you can actually just like get rid of it and draw more cards. Or like if you draw 2, you know. But yeah, I thought Lancia was great today. I don't know if I'd change that or whatnot. I think the list is really solid how it is. You know, it seems like a very low hand trap count in 60 cards. However, I played some blowout going second spells as well, which can almost be treated as hand traps. So I played 3 Super Poly as well as 3 Forbidden Droplet. Super Poly was just insane. It had so much versatility with the Prank Kids engine having like fusions in the deck, as well as like the DPE, you know, that's a fusion, as well as like majority of the good decks have a dark part to them. So just being able to play the 1 Starving Venom is also just like very powerful. Being able to get rid of 2 monsters for 2 cards and then putting a body that, you know, floats into Regeki and like copies an effect. It's just an insane card right now. Droplet as well, and also like these cards they can't respond to for the most part. Like I just think that's such a broken mechanic in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like one of my first YCS tops was with Cleafort, and the stealth had the same wording as Super Poly, and ever since then it's like that wording on a card just you know, brings a smile to my face, so I love playing those kind of cards. Another kind of defensive card is Called By. You don't always see it because you're playing 60, but you know, you turbo through your deck and see quite a few cards, so drawing it's always nice. 3 Place, 1 Pranks, 1 Pandemonium. A lot of people don't play 3. I do, you know, if you draw one of these 2, which are pretty much the bricks, you can just send this off the fansies, add it back to off Dew, and then you know, it's Soul's food. So we love the Soul food. But yeah, just pretty standard. Some people play 2 Pandemonium, but drawing Super Poly with it is essentially 2 Pandemoniums. And then for the Adventure engine, you know, we have the 3 Right, 1 Fate, 1 Draco back. You know, it's not bad because you can still chain block with Fate. I've seen some lists playing 2 or 3, but if you'd much rather just see your Rights, I guess this card's technically part of the engine too. You know, it literally only triggers this. However, like I don't think I'd play more than 1 Fate. It comes off sometimes, like if you banish it off Desires, but you know, or Ogre. But once you're getting Ogred and you just have the token, you know, you can make Link Spider into Verte and just go onto your other engines that you know, it just tutors basically. So yeah, some of the 1-ups. We have Pot of Desires. Oh, before the 1-ups, 2 Fusion Destiny. You know, it's great to draw, obviously. You know, you do it at the end, but it's also just insane to send off Verte. It's pretty much the engine with like half bricks, half Fusion Destiny, but it's even come up. Actually, there's Cody, funny enough. I didn't draw Fusion Destiny and I didn't resolve Verte, but I drew both Dasher and Celestial, and I sent them off Forbidden Droplets. and then the next turn I use Celestial Effect to draw 2. So I didn't even need to make the the Destroyer Phoenix, but you know, I still drew 2. So yeah, that engine is just so powerful. Pot of Desire is very similar. Like draw 2 cards is very awesome. Like all these cards are just like draw 2. Like Pot of Greed is banned for a reason. I don't know. It's at 1 now, and you know, I'd play 3 if I could. But
just a little question about the Pot of Desires.
Yeah.
Have you ever found it conflicting with the adventure package and the DPE?
You know, it definitely is, but you know, you're only activating it as your last resort. So you're not starting your turn. Like if you have like, say like Enchantress, whatever, Prank Kid, and Desires, you're not just going Pot of Desires. Like you're going to try to resolve these out as much as you can first, get all of those combo pieces out of your deck, and then towards the end of it, you're really hoping that Pot of Desires turns into 2, whether they're hand traps or like negates. But yeah, so I mean, sometimes if you're forced to do it, like say you kind of bricked and you have Pot, like banishing Fate or Draco back, or maybe a piece to your Destiny Hero package, or even like the Prank Kids one-up spells. Like it hurts a little, but it's nothing like too harmful if you're able to play still. Just like use your other engines. We played 1 prep as the 5th copies of Souls, 6 copies of Souls right here, 1 for 1. It was really cool. It could be Fansies or Souls, you know, whatever it wanted to be. It could be either engine. You know, if you had like multiple hand traps or you bricked on hand traps, you can get rid of those. Or, you know, this is the best discard card. So if you draw the Enchantress with Super Poly or Droplets or 1 for 1, even Twin Twisters, it's like, that's the combo right there. You know, get the maximum amount of value out of that. Also, I played the 1 Thunder Dragon Fusion as the you know, target from Verte to end and make the Butler. Also, it's a follow-up. It searches Fansies afterwards as well. And even hard drawing it, like if you get nibbed and you have your 3 names engraved, you can just put them back, even if they're banished too, and just make Butler. So it's great. You know, it can be ghost spelled, but I was a big fan of Thunder Dragon Fusion. And then I also played 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Instant Fusion. So these cards are essentially like the extenders to where you're doing your full Prank Kids combo, and you're also making Totally Awesome. So it's just an additional negate on top of anything, you know. If you have the links in Grave already, Instant Fusion becomes a 1-card access code. So, you know, Monster Reborn's great. You can steal like your opponent's Verte from Grave, use it, like a Baron, broken cards, or you know, you just like do your own combo turn 1 and make the Toad with the 2 droplets, or Dropsies. But yeah, that's it for the main deck. Do you guys have any questions on that, or wonder any reasoning behind the card choices?
No, looks pretty solid.
Perfect, yeah. Awesome, well without further ado, let's move on to the extra deck. So, you know, we played the standard 1 of Meow. I played 2 if I could, but I can't.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. It's so good, honestly. Like, once it's gone, I feel like I'm lost. Sometimes I like to put it back off the pranks. If I'm not doing like Butler plays, just so like my pranks become 1-card starters again the next turn. Doodle Doo is the best one. It you know, it adds, it's Rhoda for your spell, and then it adds back the other spell you send off Fansies. So it's just tutors the entire deck. You play 2 just because this is like the interruption point, and then 1 Vow. A lot of people like will try to up these numbers, but I think this is the perfect amount, especially when you're putting it back in phase off the pranks anyways. You really don't need any more. Other than that, I played 1 Link Spider. You know, some people play 2 or this and a Link Rebo, but I decided it wasn't necessary because people ended up not Nibiruing at the choke point anymore. So when you first have the do to add back with the last name, that's when people used to Nibiru, and then you could like Link Spider away the Nibiru token, and then pranks could discard special summon the token, make Link Karibo, and then make Verte, right? But you know, since there's so many different engines now, doing it there, like I might still have access to 4 other engines. or 3 other engines, so it's just not correct to do that anymore. So that was like the only reasoning.
Have you ever missed the second Verte Anaconda? Because it can come up when you do get nipped.
it can. You know, that's definitely like the most crucial choke point, the nib on the Anaconda. But I think the 16th card could either be the Anaconda or maybe even like the Dark Charmer. Just like you could steal your opponent's Anaconda, like, you know, a lot of people are playing it right now. But yeah, one was perfect today. My one loss in Phoenix, the second one would have came up, but no complaints on it at 1. And then we played the 1 Unicorn, 1 Access Code. This is like how you clear boards, how you OTK, just really good cards. I played 1 Exceed, totally awesome. Oh, shout out to Dallas Bailey, the Toad Dally. You know, I saw him for the first time in a couple years today, so huge shout out. It was great seeing him. But yeah, card was just insane. After you do your combo and you special the Butler on their turn, you're usually special summoning 2 of the Dropsies, and then you can just start your turn with you know, making Toad. Butler, you know, sometimes isn't the best card to make. Like sometimes Weather Washer is correct versus like rogue decks such as like Eldritch or whatnot. But if they do put some monsters on board, just putting the 2 drop on board play in to make Toad is definitely nice. Also, like with Super Poly, sometimes you can just super poly away your Dew and you know, Lampsies or whatever it is, and then make the Rocket, and then special back a Dew and a Dropsies, and you know, you're basically making a Toad on your turn as well with that. And then for the fusions, I played the 1 Starving Venom, 1 Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix. These cards were just insane today. They also like work really well together. If you pop this, pop something, then this triggers, you know, it's a Regeki. So yeah, I was a big fan of those in Super Poly. And then I decided to play 2 Butler, 1 Rocket and 1 Washer. Shout out to Keegan right here. This misprint, found it in Bull. That's just insane, like it's super misprinted. So, you know, if anyone wants it, $100, you know, pay me.
That's money, Mitch.
I'm just playing.
$99.99.
Yeah. But yeah, no. This card. Actually, I didn't make it today, but I made it in Phoenix. The double Butlers come up a couple times. Usually when it does come up, they scoop before. But you know, this card might be a second Verte. Might be a second Link Spider. I was like torn between those 2, or even like the Dark Charmer. Those were like the other options, but I decided to go with the Butler just because, you know, if you do your full combo and have set Super Poly as well, instead of specialing the 2 Waters for the Toad play next turn, you can just special summon 1 of each color, and then you know, even if it's not a dark deck necessarily, you could just Super Poly away the ones you special for a second Butler, and then it's a 3rd Regeki. But yeah, that was the extra deck. So it worked really well for me all weekend. And then let's go on to the side deck. So I played 1 Dino Wrestler Pankratops. The really cool part about this card and Toad is they're the 2 cards that if they are able to out your Butler and you don't use the Regeki effect, these are the 2 you want to special summon the most, just because they're interruptions that interact with your opponent. You know, he can't special summon back a fusion monster, so you know, your DPE and Starving Venom aren't the best, but being able to special these back and get an additional pop or negate is just huge. So that's why I played the Pankratops, really. It could have been, you know, the 3rd copy of Lightning Storm. However, it essentially served the same purpose. And then, you know, we also played the 3 Twin Twisters. These were my like back row removers, aside from the Draco back in the main deck. I really didn't fear back row just because, aside from like floodgates, like this deck can just play through so many negates. So yeah, there's just those 6 for back row. And then some of the more hand traps that we played that were for more niche matchups. 3 Nibiru and 3 Ghost Spell. You know, Ghost Spell's insane in the mirror match, so is Nibiru. They're really for the like heavy combo decks. At some certain interruption points, they can be really, really powerful to stop them. And then the last card on the side was 3 Triple Tactics Talon. With the rise of a ton of hand traps, such as the 18 I play in my deck, this card became live all the time. You know, drawing 2 and digging for your next engine comes up a lot. You know, even ripping a card from their hand is, you know, sometimes detrimental to their combo, even if you only have like 1 or 2 interruptions. Then also, like, the Snatch Seal came up a lot. That's why I kind of want to play the Dark or the second Verte, just because you could like take and then make another Link too. But other than that, like, ripping a card out of the hand or drawing 2 is also just very powerful. But yeah, that's all for the deck. I just wanted to say I'm pushing pranks out here. And yeah, I pushed pranks all weekend. Shout out to Gunna. And that's all I got for you guys. So Mitchell Martin signing off.